Hello again, guys, and welcome to one of my New Year's videos. So Christmas is come and gone. You notice I have taken down the Christmas set, and I've put up some New Year stuff. And I'm sorry I didn't do a video for that. I just felt like it wasn't necessary. I just kind of went out to the dollar store, bought some like tinsel. This stuff was from Hobby Lobby. This is from the dollar store. It's a little tiara. That was the hat. Chucky was from Stop and Shop. So just some little things. Welcome to my top 10 movies of 2023. Now I'm gonna start this video off by saying I did not see every movie. Obviously, I am not, such a film watcher. Like that's my job. I'm not paid for it. I only watch one new movie a week, if. Right, and there was a whole month where I didn't watch any new movies because of the Goosebumps TV series. So, I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot of films that just are not on my list. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you all the movies I have watched. I've only watched, I think, maybe 16. Apologies, there were some movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, that I'm just waiting for them to, kind of come out on streaming and to kind of have the time to, watch them. Because I don't really want to go to the theater because I'm pretty sure it's 3 hours long. I really don't want to go to theater to watch that. That's what I'm going to have to wait for it to come out at home. But, I just said the S word as a physical media collector streaming, But, yeah, so, there were other movies I wanted to see. There's some movies on this list that I wanted to see theatrically that I didn't get to see theatrically, like Shazam. Evil Dead Rise was one I was considering watching theatrically. I didn't get to see it theatrically. I just want you all to keep that in mind. I'm also, definitely not the target demographic for a lot of, the movies. Actually, I probably am the target demographic for a lot of the movies on this list. I guess I want you all to bear that in mind. But I'm not in the target demographic for those movies, I guess. Kind of. Get that? Get what I'm saying? Cool. Alright. I got the iconic sticky note. Got the whole list on it. I am gonna include honorable mentions. So if you don't see your movie, it might be in the honorable mentions. So, and if I've seen it. So, also, if you're expecting to see Killers of the Flower Moon on here, sorry. But, alright, let's begin, shall we? Alright, my number 10 pick is John Wick 4. Now, I would love to put this film higher on my list, or, lower, however it is. But, because it's my favorite of the John Wick films. But, the John Wick films always just kind of lack that spice to me. They're probably my favorite action series. But they all feel very samey. But John Wick 4 felt like a nice breath of fresh air in the series. It felt different, enough. And I liked Bill Skarsgård, as the antagonist. I liked the stunts. I actually missed some of the staircase scene. I was in the bathroom. They don't tell you these things. They don't have intermission here in the U.S. They should add it. But, yeah. So, great movie. But the fact that, they might be doing a fifth John Wick, kind of screws up that, it could be higher, right? But since they're doing a fifth one, I would have liked, to just have been an interpretive ending, figure it out yourself, right? But yeah, so John Wick 4 is my number 10. My number 9 was one I didn't even intend on seeing, really. My sister brought me to go see it with her. And I kind of just wanted to trip to the movies to hopefully see that new Ghostbusters trailer on the big screen, and I didn't, still haven't. But it's The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now, I'm not that big of a Hunger Games fan. I haven't read the books or watched any of the movies since I was in early middle school, early middle school. And I don't remember much about them, right? Clips started to resurface from them, because of the new movie, right? And I'm also not too big of a fan of somebody in this movie because of comments in it's not that I hate them. It's just I hate the attitude. Off topic, but so I wasn't too optimistic towards it, I guess. But I walked out of the movie liking the first half, hating the second half. But the only reason why I made my list is because I thought about this movie for weeks after seeing it. It wasn't until I saw Wonka that it got off my mind, and that's like a whole month. And I saw I'm pretty sure I saw Thanksgiving after that. So, not even Thanksgiving could get my mind off of it, right? So, it was on my mind this whole time, right? For like a solid month. So, I saw Thanksgiving opening night, so scratch that, But you get what I'm saying. It was on my mind for a whole month, and, yeah, so that's what bumped it up. The soundtrack's also bopping. You gotta listen to it. Sample. You can kiss me! Alright. So, my number 9 was Hunger Games, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. My number 8 was a movie that definitely could have been better. There was one thing that really angered me about it. But that's not really, this isn't really the video for it, and I don't want to be talking about these movies forever. But that's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I had just kind of gotten into the Indiana Jones series. I know, shoot me in the head, whatever. But just kind of that and Mission Impossible. I had just kind of hopped on it just to be able to be in the series right before this new movie releases. Especially because they both have, train action sequences in them. That was my main kind of point, but, it kind of surprised me. There were a couple of good action sequences in it, but, there were some bits that fell off. Some characters that were just kind of annoying, and it just kind of felt flat, and so that's why it's not higher on the list. And so, also the ending wasn't as satisfying as it should have been for a finale. So, that's all I have to say about Dial of Destiny. All right, my number 7 pick is a horror movie finally, and that is Thanksgiving. So me and my friends, a couple friends, went and saw this. We had a great time. There's some great humor in this movie. Eli Roth knocked it out of the park with this one. There's some great gore. I really wish I could have put it higher on the list because it's a standout horror film of the year. I wish I could do like a top horror movies. But I feel like it's a crime putting it at this point on the list. But there's other movies, that came out this year that I just like more, and I might find myself rewatching more, and that just felt like they kind of stand out more in terms of quality. But, because this is a more comedic movie, I guess, it's not that the movie's bad quality or anything, but it's, a horror, I guess, comedy kind of is the path it's going down, a slasher comedy, so... But seriously, great. It was my first theatrical horror movie experience that wasn't a franchise in years, I think. Actually, might have just been period. So it was really, really nice to experience that. I got to do that more because I don't give these other movies like Talk to Me and Evil Dead Rise, a chance, right? So, but yeah. Usually I end up waiting till they come out on disc, and even then I wait like a couple months, for them to drop in price. But yeah, so Thanksgiving, it was my number 7. So, but let's get on to my number 6, which is another horror movie, and that is Evil Dead Rise, which I just mentioned. Another great horror movie this year, one of the best, which it feels again criminal to be putting it, at this point on the list, but seriously, it was a great movie. There were some like tense scenes, some great gore, great visual effects. The ending was awesome. Some awesome references in there, even though I haven't even seen any of the movies leading up to it. There were some awesome references that even I could understand, which actually, going back to the Hunger Games, you know, something that was really cool about that was, even though I hadn't seen the movie in a long time, I knew exactly what was happening. Um, and, you know, I could see where, you know, how the events of the movie were impacting the future sequel movies, you know. But anyway, back to Evil Dead Rise. Sorry, inverted camera. Um, yeah, so it was great, you know, being able to understand some things like the chainsaw, you know, because I'm sure that was a reference. But yeah, so seriously, great movie, really, like creepy, and horrific violence in that. So, uh, yeah, just wanted to put that out there. I did end up seeing it because I thought I was gonna have to watch all the others first, and you know I wasn't gonna be able to actually like, you know, go in blindly, right? So, but I bought it on sale on Black Friday. I really enjoyed it. So, top five. This was a hard kind of section to rank because some of these movies, like, it's like, am I doing, you know, committing a crime by putting this here over this movie, or, you know, so, but once we get to the first two, it gets kind of easier. So, I was a little more even-footed, I guess. So, my number five pick is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. This movie just did not hit all the bases that I wanted it to, which is unfortunate after waiting all this time. But, you know, because we had to wait all this time, you know, so much has happened in the franchise, and you gotta hit all those marks, right? This is not the movie that would have been made 8 years ago, back when the franchise was in its early days. So, I, you know, I feel like that's important to kind of mention. I feel like people don't realize that so much lore has been put out through these games and all these books that you got to include it all. You know, little bits of it at least. And so, you know, you can't have that original story anymore. And so, it's unfortunate, yes, but the movie itself was great, and that's why it's in my top five. But my main problem comes with the final act. Definitely should have been longer. I felt rushed, and so that's my main problem, and that's why it's not any higher. So, my number five pick is Five Nights at Freddy's. My number four pick is Haunting in Venice. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know, but these movies, the Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express, these three are very close for me. I mean, like, I don't know which one I, you know, can pick as a favorite, because they all have such, you know, good things about them, and, you know, some things about them. But Haunting in Venice, you know, was so stylistically driven. There wasn't an overabundance of CGI like in Death on the Nile, which was, you know, a pandemic-made movie. And so Haunting in Venice also was just like, you know, a more psychological and more my kind of genre, I guess. So it was also nice being able to return to Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot, and get to see him in another mystery, and this one being a more appealing to the horror fans, and also released during Halloween. And also getting one of these first ever early access screening for a movie, so definitely cool experience there. And I got to go with one of my friends, actually unintentionally, so there was that too. But anyway, about time we get to that top three. So I think you guys might be able to pick it. You might be able to figure it out here, but we'll see. My number three pick is Scream 6. Now, this was originally my number two pick, and it'll become more evident why that was. So it's my favorite Scream movie, probably. Only, you know, loosely, you know, behind the original or whatever, or only loosely above the original. So, I love the setting. I've been to New York multiple times, even though it wasn't actually filmed in New York. I've been to New York multiple times. I love the cast. If you haven't seen, spoiler alert. In particular, I love the killers. So that was great. I've met one of the cast members. It's right there. Cute boy next door, Danny. I met him. He's the nicest celebrity I've ever met, guys. Seriously, the nicest. And he was also in Chicago PD, which is another show I watch. Scream 6, a great movie. I love the setting. Has some amazing, stepped up the gore. Love that for Scream. But it's also, unfortunately, the ending. And actually, it doesn't have my favorite character in it. It doesn't have Dewey, because he got killed off in the last one. But unfortunately, for right now, it's the last in the franchise because of what's going on over at Radio Silence. So, but, yep, so if that's the finale, I mean, sure, the last thing we saw of Gail was her lying on the floor, but, like, we didn't know. But anyway, if that's the end of the franchise, I guess I'm fine with it, because it was the best, right? At least for me. So anyway, my number 2 pick, which this is going to start to make sense, because I had started this list before seeing it, but it was Wonka, right? So I started this list weeks ago, and I had to hold off because I hadn't watched Evil Dead Rise, Talk to Me, Shazam, or Wonka yet, and I had to get on those. And so I saw Wonka, and I was blown out of the water with it. It was incredible. Y'all did see hopefully my review of it, my thoughts of it. The video that has my face photoshopped onto it, that one. And so I really enjoyed it. I had cons with it, of course. I'm a critical person. But I got the popcorn tub, I got the cup. I didn't even do that for Scream 6. And I wanted that popcorn tub, which my theater got in stock for like Thanksgiving. I don't know why they did, but anyway. Yeah, so really enjoyed it. Timothy Chalamet does great performance. I actually got the shirt that says Slugworth, Fickelgruber, and Prodnose on it. You'll see it in upcoming videos. I love that shirt. That's like my favorite shirt right now. I also got this shirt from my parents. Y'all, can see. And I got a Chucky shirt right here. It's a Christmas gift because you guys aren't gonna really see these in a video. So as me talking about them. But Wonka. The songs in it are great. I listen to them. I know I've said that there's too many and that not all of them, slap, but they literally do slap, and I'm wrong. So I'm sorry. I listen to them in the shower. I listen to them to fall asleep at night when I suck my thumb. Seriously, Wonka's great, guys, and I recommend go checking it out. I'm gonna try and see it again soon. I still have yet to try the Wonka pancakes at IHOP though. So. And the hover chalk things. So some honorable mentions. You'll notice that there weren't some movies on here that you probably were expecting to see on here. But I'm sorry that, some of these movies, that you really liked weren't on here. But I did want to mention a couple. Well, really only 2. But the first one is The Jester. It's a smaller budget movie. It's a horror movie. You might have seen it pop up on like maybe Amazon Prime Video, I think, YouTube movies. So you might have seen it pop up on streaming. I think the Blu-ray recently released. I gotta get it for my collection here. But the reason why I put this here in the honorable mentions is because for its budget, it's a very good horror movie. The faults of it do not lie in the production value. They fall in, I think, and I'm sorry to say this, but the script writing level of it. because it feels like it's trying to be in like more of a elevated horror movie when I feel like it would be best off as a slasher, in plain and simple, right? Because I think that would have made it a lot more successful. So that's all I'm gonna say really about that. I also know somebody who's in it, so I gotta say sign, right? But my other honorable mention is Barbie, which made a pretty big splash at the box office. I'm gonna be honest, but I wasn't a big fan of it. But I did want to mention it because it's very nice and I'm very appreciative. Excuse me, that Greta Gerwig did not just go and make a Barbie movie where Barbie and Ken go on an adventure and kiss each other at the end, right? I'm glad that was in the movie and it's all a happy ending, right? And I'm glad that there was an actual, serious message to the movie, and that she really tried to make it, a conversation topic, right? Except I feel like it wasn't as successful in doing that, because it had so many conversation topics that they started to kind of feel muddled. And I was hearing people kind of twist the movie to say what they wanted to say instead of what it was actually trying to say. And so by having all these messages crammed into one movie, it kind of became hard to pick one as an avenue and go with it. And then also, I just feel like Barbie isn't the avenue as a children's toy, so much to go with some of these more adult aspects, right? Of life, because, you got kids in the movie, at the movies seeing it. And, Barbie's on the big screen. You got Barbie slapped right on there. Marketing blown out of the water, right? And, kids can't really go see it. They can't understand it. They can't relate to some of these things. And so it's, it kind of, kind of muddles it, right? So but I did want to include it because I think it's great that, Greta took the movie and made it her own thing. And made it, more mature than, what it would have been if it was just some other schmuck, right? So there we go. No need for that anymore because we are at the number one pick. I totally missed the trash, even though it's like 3 feet away from me. My number one pick is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. You might have seen this one coming from a mile away because the last half an hour of the movie, but last hour of the movie, sorry. I don't even know how long it was. I thought it was an hour. But they trimmed it. Yeah, it was an hour. They trimmed a half hour off. Right. Yeah, doesn't matter. But Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. The movie's like 3 hours long, right? But I cannot tell you a moment when I felt bored in that movie. Or when I felt like I have to go pee. Or I, want to get up. I want to go. Or, where character conversations went on for too long. Or, whatnot. But, at the same time, it didn't feel like, the movie was too bland and tasteless. The characters still feel like characters, not just like pieces on a board that you have to move around, right? They still had personalities and everything. This movie had some great action sequences. The car chase was great. The airport scene, I love that. There was the chase scene where was it, Venice? I think it was Venice, or I don't know. But at night there after the party or club, and then the whole entity thing is great. And of course, I can't forget to mention the final act train sequence, which was incredible. I know that there was cut footage from that, and I want to see it, guys. I need to see it. So like that's what I need to inject it into my veins. I need to see this stuff, guys. Just hook me up to a machine and just start flowing it through my body. need it. But seriously, greatest movie of the year for me. Loved every minute of it, every second of it. I wanted to go see it again in the theaters, but I never got the chance to. But I ended up making Cinemark movie platinum status, so that worked out. But yeah. As promised, here's my complete ranking of the 22 movies I saw this year. And yes, the order from left to right does matter in terms of this tier list. So yeah, so that's my top 10 movies of 2023. 2024 is not looking as good, but there's definitely some juicy ones in there. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, Beetlejuice. I am gonna make a video about that, and then that's set to release on New Year's, if everything goes to plan. And then I'm also planning on doing a video on anticipated physical media releases in the new year. I'm going to release that next year. And then I also have a bigger video related to that. Alright, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. And you guys should probably leave a list of maybe top 5 movies of the year for you guys in the comments. And or you could just leave your favorite. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you in the next one on New Year's. So